per usual. Hey, everybody. It's time to go live. It is Wellness Wednesdays with CJ, me, your girl, Christian Jackson, the daddy issues expert. I am so excited to be here with you guys tonight, like I am each and every Wednesday that I'm not on vacation, where I get to say, hey, y'all, let's talk about some mental health and wellness tips. Because my goal and my charge, of course, is to make sure that I'm using my platforms to engage with you and have candid discussions about things that we don't necessarily have access to. We may not have the space to do so. And so I sit with you about 30 minutes every Wednesday night to go live and discuss what I got going on and just some things that I think about sometimes. And I'm going to come out these specs because this glare is killing me. So why do I call myself the daddy issues expert? Is because I wrote the books on them, right? So here they are, my babies. And can you believe, y'all? It's been almost a year, for those of you who've been following me in the movement for a while, that I published these babies. And I'm so excited. So the daddy issues movement is on and popping as far as I'm concerned, based on my books, right? So I did some work, some introspection. I went to therapy myself because I was struggling with some things on my own, dealing with issues in my relationship, my friendships, where I was super insecure, didn't know who I was. And a lot of that anxiety I brought into the spaces I was filling up, right? So I didn't know who I was. And I share my story about my paternity with my dad in the book, right? Which is here. And a lot of that stuff I had to work out in therapy. I'm a therapist, of course. I'm a trauma specialist. I'm in group with a bunch of women all the time. And so a lot of the things they were saying were triggering me. So I knew I needed to go to therapy. And so my journals and things kind of turned into this system. In addition to the fact that I have been in therapy doing individual work with people for a long time. And a lot of the things that I was doing with the women, especially when it came to this theme I saw about relationship issues, going back to the father wound or daddy issues, we were doing some work and some activities and things that I have seen a decrease in symptoms in, meaning that people were getting better. And so I put it all here in my book. So when it comes to working through and transcending daddy issues, you're first going to know what daddy issues are. So I lay out for you what the symptoms are, the rejection, abandonment issues, the issues where we have questions about why I'm in this relationship and why I don't feel fulfilled, or why I'm coming off and have this role and don't feel like I'm doing enough, which we're going to talk about tonight. What is that all about, and how does that impact my spiritual life and my ability to take care of myself? What is all that's going on? And then how does attachment play a role? Attachment meaning, how do I show up in relationships? So I have a chapter on that. So by the time you get through about chapter 3, you know what daddy issues are. I'm giving you a framework to work through so that you know exactly what's going on. And in between each chapter, I like to give you speed bumps because some of the things are frankly pretty triggering. We're talking about some heavy stuff. It was heavy for me to write because I had to relive some things. It's a lot to talk about in therapy and when I'm in group. And I see y'all there on Instagram. Thank you guys for showing up live. This is really important to me. This whole movement is based on coming back to self-care. And if we're going to transcend daddy issues, for one thing, we got to make sure we're okay with ourselves. And if we're talking about, oh, hey, Jibby, your daughter's on. What's up, sis? And so I'm on Instagram. I'm interacting with you guys live because I really want y'all to know my why and what's important when I'm talking about transcending daddy issues, right? So, sis, people give us a bad rep for having daddy issues, right? They say that we're what? Say it in the chat. I see y'all on there on IG popping, right? What is it that they say about women who have daddy issues? We're promiscuous. We're gold diggers. We don't have a good supportive community behind us. And that's what I'm here to do, to give people language so that they're saying more than, oh, she's just a slut. She's a hoe, she's a freak, and she got daddy issues and likes creepy old men, which is what they like to say. I'm giving us a chance to look at women with daddy issues as women who are in recovery from emotional trauma. And that's what it is. And that's my jam. My website is ticking down on the bottom of my Facebook page. You can check out more about me and what I have going on and what daddy issues movement means to me and what I'm trying to do with it. In addition to my books, where I would say if you're going to go ahead and purchase these books, you can get them at my website, which is scrolling down the bottom here on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also get the workbook to expand upon what I'm putting in the middle of each chapter in the actual book. So I would recommend you get them together. I like to say, sis, if you're getting this, you're saving money because really it's like about 1.5 years of therapy all together. And on top of the books, your girl is leading the Daddy Issues Healing Circle. And I'm so excited to be taking applications. They are open. It was slated to begin on Monday, the 26th. So we're going to pause on that until I get enough members to really make it effective. And so the good news for y'all tonight is that the applications, they're really always open, but you still have a chance to join the very next one, right? And so I can talk more about the Healing Circle at the end. what I want to get into is what the subject is for tonight. I want to talk about FOMO. Okay, so if you guys, while I'm setting up here, y'all are in there on Instagram, really getting discussion and stuff going and showing up. What is FOMO? What does it mean? This is something that, frankly, one of the kids had to tell me about. FOMO is fear of missing out. And so what I want to talk about is that, first of all, FOMO does not stop when you turn 18 and you're an adult, okay? Your girl just turned 35 in May, and there are some shifts I'm making in my business. And I got to make these things personal because as I'm talking to you, I got to talk to myself. FOMO is a beast. Okay, because I'm out here on the gram. I'm out here trying to make my physical presence known online. I'm increasing my social media presence. I'm rebranding. Couch of Christians looking cute. And I'm getting my message out. I'm getting noticed. People is buying my books. They joining the group. They're doing the things, right? Because it comes with a certain level of engagement and work that we have to do behind the scenes, right? So that means that me as a therapist, I have to put on my business hat now, and I have to learn all the things and engage with other therapists who are doing the things in their businesses, and they're charging this and they're doing that, and their program is doing this. And I'm just like, yo, I'm here for all of the support and all the great things that the women I know who are on business are holding me accountable for and talking to me about. But I like to say I've transcended daddy issues, right? Meaning that I am in recovery. You can look at it how you want to. Those symptoms, they flare, right? So in the book, I tell you in the beginning what daddy issues are. And that for me has been me trusting myself, right? Identity issues. Who am I? So daddy issues to me is insecurity, right? And you can put in the chat, what are the daddy issue symptoms that you actually identify with? Because all those things come up. So I want to tell you, when you join the daddy issues healing circle, when it's your time, right? Or when you go to therapy, or when you're with your friends and you're like, oh, I worked on this issue for a while, I should be over it. Let me tell you something. We are never over anything. It's because we can't change the past, for one. But really what we're doing is integrating those symptoms into our lives. We're saying, okay, sis, what that means in layman's terms is, yeah, when I think about that thing that sucked, I mean, it sucked, but it's not going to take me down for the day. I ain't going to be out here crying all day. My life is not going to be ruined because of the thing. That's how you know you've done your work. So all that to say, sometimes my daddy issues, they flare. Right. And I have this voice in my head, which is not always my daddy. That's one thing I talked about last week, right? We're holding ourselves accountable as women who have transcended daddy issues. We hold ourselves accountable and we do not apply inappropriate responsibility, right? Which means that I'm going to say if it's me, I'm reacting to the fact that I'm on my timeline comparing myself to other people's businesses, or I'm on my timeline looking at all these programs that I know are really amazing and I can't afford them right now. And I have to have these things in order to have my business and be where I want to be and position myself, right? FOMO is fear of missing out. For some reason, FOMO has me thinking that I'm taking the back seat to everyone. I'm going to miss out. And if you're watching on Instagram, you're missing what I have here on the screen on Facebook and YouTube, if you're watching live on YouTube. And I'm just going to say FOMO is also known as I'm not good enough unless I do. You fill in the blank, sis. I'm not good enough unless I am at this place. You fill in the blank. Or I'm not good enough unless I'm associated with, you fill in the blank, right? So FOMO is way more than just, I'm scared to miss out on this party, sis, because I know that homecoming's going to be lit. Corona was happening last year. Everybody's homecoming got shut down. I know I'm looking forward to mine. Shout out to Winthrop Eagles in Rock Hill, South Carolina. But what is going on is more than just missing out on a party, right? FOMO literally means I have assigned some kind of meaning to this event, to this person, to this place. And without these things, the people, places, and things, for some reason, I'm feeling like I'm less than, and my identity is shook, right? So just as an example, I'm thinking that my business, Couch with Christian, is going to be doomed if I don't engage in this program that I can't afford, to make sure that I am doing everything I need to make sure that my business is aligned and reaching people and touching people, right? That's literally what I was telling myself about 2 weeks ago, because I'm tired. Sis is a 1.5 woman show, and I'm about to be down to half because my summer internship is finna be up. So now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm missing out on all the things that I know I could be doing, right? For Couch of Christian and making a difference. If I don't do these things, then I'm not good enough. My business is not good enough. I'm going to fail. So I've set it up. FOMO, fear of missing out. Again, guys, for you guys on Instagram, FOMO is actually what you're not seeing on the screen there is I'm not good unless I do, unless I'm at or I'm associated with these people. So we're going to dig a little deep today. I want to ask you these questions and have you sit with this thing because we got to shake the table on that stuff that we be telling ourselves, right? I've talked before, if you go back and watch previous Wellness Wednesdays, I talk about the critic, the voice in our head. How do we actually address that? So how do we start to overcome FOMO, aka I'm not good enough unless. The first tip you guys see on your screen right here on Facebook and on YouTube is set and focus on your own goals. Okay, sis, sir, they, what are you doing for yourself and how can you stay in your lane? There are so many people that I know that have put things on the back burner. Let's just use New Year's resolutions as an example. How and why did you forget those goals? What did you have going on that made you forget that you was working on trying to be healthy? What is it that you was doing in your relationship, in your marriage maybe, or your intense partnership, your intimate partnership, or your friendship that you were working on to make it healthier and better, where you were aligned, where you knew that you were taking care of yourself? What was that thing you started doing? And why did it go on the back burner? So now you really got to do some introspective work. You got to ask yourself the deep questions. What is it that you have been doing to have you off track? Have you been on your timeline? What's got you away from your purpose? Have you never known those things? Have you never actually set your goals and maybe your goals were somebody else's, sis? Like, did you kind of swipe somebody else's business plan and just decided that might work for you, not really knowing your values and your talent and what you bring to the table? Right? Identity issues. That goes back to what I have listed as a symptom of daddy issues. Who are you? Do you even know what that looks like? I talked about this several times before in my blog, on my website, here on several Wellness Wednesdays, and in therapy every single week. I love to talk about going back to assess your goals and who you are. I mean, your values and who you are. Because if we don't stand for anything or know what we are, into, that it's really hard to make decisions. It's hard to say, you know what, I'm gonna join the Daddy Issues Healing Circle because my value is peace. My value is engaging in healthy self-care activities. I'm going to invest in myself, whether it's the time. Then we're talking about fear of missing out. You're talking about missing out on something. Are you missing out on things that you really want to be doing for yourself? How do we get off track? So we're talking tonight about, for those of you who are just joining us, FOMO, fear of missing out. AKA, and thank you, Kay Gibson, AKA, I'm not good enough unless I do these things or with these people or at these parties and places and things, right? What are your goals? Because you may find out that you not being at these people, places, and things and being engaged with these things, they might not even be aligned with your values, right? So what are your goals? And the barrier to even addressing what that is, what that looks like, is just trying to figure out, like, do they even set any? Were they yours? Were they your daddy's? Oh, that's a good one. We talk about daddy issues. Did you have goals before and then somehow they got off track because you realized it wasn't really what you wanted? Were you performing? Because there are a lot of women who come to me, and I'm one person who's included in this. As a woman who's transcended daddy issues, there were a lot of things I was performing and wanting to get those A's and do all the band recitals and things to get my dad's attention. And so now I'm like, oh, if I don't go on this thing to get better at this stuff, then maybe daddy won't notice me. That's a daddy issue, right? Hey, Talette, I see you, sis, in the Facebook chat. So we are talking about FOMO, right? Why is it that we are in this space? And I want you to be thinking about that and answering that question for yourself, or come in the chat. I see you guys there showing love in the Instagram chat. The next tip I have for overcoming FOMO, fear of missing out, is practicing gratitude, y'all. We've been forgetting. We are on this side of the dirt, okay? I love to say that because that's a nice little Southern thing that old people say. Use up, sis. You was alive. You're here with me on this live. You had a day, no matter how the day went. You were in a space where you are breathing. So what is it that you do have? So if I'm going to go back to my example for myself, right? My FOMO lately has been, I don't have these things in place for my business. I don't have a virtual assistant. So I can focus on the things that are important, like getting my content ready and writing blogs and trying to make these contexts and relationships in the community and beyond. I need this, I need that. What is it that has me thinking I need to miss out? What am I not grateful for? There's a lot of things I have done, even in the past 6 months, I am fully thankful for. The fact that I had Alyssa, who did my branding for me, and I have talked about her before, and I can tag her later. Alyssa did a lot for my look. The pretty pictures you've seen, Kendra Knight Photography, thank you so much for getting me together, sis. I had an amazing She Lexi Crystal makeup artist that made me look cute that day. There are things that Couch with Christian has transformed, and you guys can see it on my timeline because I have invested in myself. I dropped them ducats, believe me, sis, okay? And I've seen the results, almost an immediate return, not only financially, but in my confidence in myself. I'm grateful for that. Think about who you're becoming as you are engaging in these new things or whatever you have going on now. And I was actually listening to a sermon at Transformation Church, and Charles Metcalf was talking about the fact that we go through different things and we forget who we are becoming. And I was saying today in a session, literally today, out of another sermon that I was listening to, the difference between temptations and being tested, right? If you are facing a test right now, then God, the universe, your higher power, whoever you decide to follow or whoever you're subscribed to, the test is to see what you've learned after all the things you've done, all the work you've done in the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, all the work and the awareness you've gotten after reading my books. You're going to therapy. You're in the support group. You're doing these things with your friends to hold yourself accountable. What are you thankful for? Because you're becoming someone, and there are things you're going to be using, you're set up and equipped to be using later on, right? So what are you actually grateful for? Your family's healthy. You have a home. You have a car. You have food. You got that PEBT, right? Some people are so prideful to even take the assistance from the state that we're getting because of the pandemic. What is it? Be thankful for those things. And if you haven't noticed, this theme that we're talking about is shifting your focus to yourself, because FOMO has us looking at everybody else's stuff, all the shiny things. And I'm talking to you again, just like I'm talking to myself, right? I am guilty of that. So again, FOMO being not only the fear of missing out, if we're taking it deeper, FOMO is I'm not good enough unless I do, I'm at this thing or I'm associated with, because we're being triggered, right? When we're not at this party, we're not associated with this particular group, then I am not good enough. And that is a narrative that is so deeply rooted in a lot of our narratives that has informed the way we even approach relationships and decisions that we make. The last piece that I have, just for now, because it's to be continued on the blog, you can find it on the website, of course, when I write this, is FOMO. Overcoming it means you're mindful of your strengths. Again, focusing on you. If you are in a space where you are on your timeline and you are comparing yourself to everybody else and you're thinking you need all these things in order to be A, B, and C, and you fill in the blanks, then please redirect your brain. Put that neural pathway back in your brain and train the noggin to focus on what you're good at. What do people say that they come to you for? What is it that you see in stuff that other people don't, or that the other people don't? What talent do you have? Again, going back to goals that you might have forgotten about, maybe even from the beginning of the year or whatever the case may be. What have you forgotten that you're actually really good at and that you maybe even have enjoyed? And that's something that's twofold, right? So if you know what your strengths are and it happens to be something that you're good at, whether it's a talent or something that you like to do, that can easily shift into a healthy coping skill. So you can use that in a couple of different ways. How do we overcome FOMO? We are mindful of our goals, the things that we are grateful for, and we know what our strengths are. Those things help us in overall and in layman's term. And if I'm going to sum it up, FOMO, how are you going to overcome it? You stay in your lane. Okay. Everything that everybody else has going on, on your timeline, it is likely the highlight reel. Okay. You are seeing people with all these curated photos and not even, they don't have to show a struggle. That's none of our business, but just keep in mind that everybody is going through something. And from one moment to the next, we know that things can change in the blink of an eye. And so it's so important for you to be mindful of where you are in your space and in your healing journey. Right. And so the Daddy Issues Healing Circle is actually one of those things you can join today. And yes, Tylette in the Facebook chat is talking about how comparison is the thief of joy. That is actually the very name of a blog that I wrote on my website. And while you're there, get to know me, get to know my content. I'm happy that you're here live with me tonight and even here on the replay. The Daddy Issues Healing Circle open applications. You still have time to join. So if you're a woman at least 25 and older who is really ready to dive into addressing why the hell can I make these relationships work? Why am I feeling down all the time? I don't believe in myself. myself, I don't have the confidence, check out the reel that I just posted on my Instagram at Couch with Christian. I did get to go and post some snippets of an interview I had with someone who actually was part of the Daddy Issues Healing Circle, so you don't have to hear it from me. But go back and watch the live video on my Facebook page here at Couch with Christian. That was from a Wellness Wednesday, probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago by now. Just a little hint, I was wearing like a little cute romper that's black with white polka dots from Old Navy. And so that's the one where I got to interview Nia, who gave us her kind words about her experience in the Daddy Issues Healing Circle. So if you want to apply, you can go to the link in my bio. You can go to my website on the homepage, scroll down, and really decide on what you are trying to do with your life. This is saving lives, because literally there are women who are struggling with whether or not they deserve to be here, and fear of missing out. That is a whole, you're talking about fear of missing out. If you don't want to miss out on this healing, then I would suggest you link with me and let's have a video chat about what the Daddy Issues Healing Circle is all about. Fear of missing out really taps in on what one of the main symptoms of daddy issues is, and that is not feeling like you are good enough. So when you are in a space, in community, which is a blog that I wrote earlier this week and it dropped on Monday, what's the point of even being in a group? Go back and read that. And it does not even have to be with me. If I'm talking about healing and really making sure that this information and these opportunities are accessible to everyone, there are so many things that you guys can do out there, and you can drop it in the chat, any ideas. I know I have some therapists on the line here tonight. What is it that you tell your clients even that they can do to address that I'm not good enough narrative, right? If you really try and dive into some things and you're not ready for the healing circle, you still have a chance to just go buy the books. See if you like my writing style, my voice. I write how I speak, right? So you can kind of get a vibe for who I am and how I kind of come off. This is me in therapy. And so I'm hoping that you have a chance at the very least to come ask me some questions about it. And remember, we are staying in our lanes for the sake of us being okay, right? So I'm not saying let's disconnect from each other, right? When we're talking about FOMO and staying in our lanes, that is the opportunity for you to make sure that you are whole and that you are okay. So when you show up in these relationships, in these spaces, that you know that you're putting in your best work. And I see you, Chippy. Thank you. This is a wrap from Nadira. And if you want the link, I'll send it to you. I love these things. I think I need to get another one. So I'm going to holler at y'all next week right here every Wednesday. Like I said, unless I'm on vacation, you'll have me here, Wellness Wednesdays with CJ. If there's a subject or something you want me to directly speak about, let me know. If there's something that you want me to come and speak at, whether you have an event and you want to book me for a keynote or something like that, you can go to my website and go to my contact page and let's link up and see what we can do. I'm so excited to have you guys here with me live tonight and even come back to engage with me on the replay. I have been Christian Jackson, your daddy issues expert. Have a great evening. Bye, Instagram. I'm not done yet. Okay, hold on. Bye, guys.